This is the G-Tide from Omorpho, a microloading garment that, as you can see, has small pebbles seamed into the tide. These pebbles are filled with small weights, which are carefully distributed across the body. This, on the other hand, are the Exogen calf sleeves and tide. Also a microloading garment, but instead of seamed in, evenly distributed weights, these have attachable 100, 200 and 300 gram weights that can be velcroed onto the garment, so you have full control over the amount and the placement of the load. These types of garments are being used more and more by elite sprinters and athletes to boost their performance, increase their coordination and improve their speed. Before we go into the exact effects of microloading and how they are achieved, you first need to know what it exactly is. In microloading, a small amount of weight, around 0.5 to 5% of body weight, is placed on the parts of the body that are moving. The weights are evenly distributed and, like we mentioned, relatively low to make sure that the body can move naturally and at nearly the same speed and intensity as without the weights. With that definition out of the way, we can discuss the current claims that are being made and how scientifically backed they are. At the moment of recording this video, most of the research that can be found has been done over the past 5 to 7 years and is mostly done by the same research groups, so take that into account. Microloading has been found to improve power output, improve technique in weightlifting, increase calorie burn, increase jump height, increase the horizontal force and sprinting speed over 40 meters in a case study with a 10.9 sprinter, and finally, when there is load placed around the lower extremities, they saw that the step frequency can be increased because the athlete has to increase the velocity of their cadence to get the foot underneath in time. The microloading shorts, on the other hand, can affect the switching pattern of the thighs during acceleration. This scientific evidence part is very important to gather more information about the possible benefits and downsides of microloading. However, now that more and more studies are being done and information is getting clearer that athletes can benefit from this, the big thing is how are coaches and athletes using this in practice and during training sessions. More specifically, elite coaches and athletes are using microloading in 3 different ways to help athletes get faster. First of all, they use it during tempos to get a bit more work done. This is pretty straightforward and doesn't require a lot of changes to the regular tempo training. The athletes just wear the clothes and do their normal training volume and intensity, but have a bigger stimulus due to the added load. Another way coaches and athletes use microloading is during sprints and drills to improve coordination of the limbs in the air and thereby improving their sprinting technique. For example, Randy Huntington, while coaching Su Bingqiang, used the Exogen calf sleeves and forearm sleeves during his max velocity drills and sprinting sessions to effect coordination of the air patterns of Su. During the acceleration sessions, he used the calf sleeves and thighs together to give the muscles a higher resistance to work against and to improve the switching pattern of the thighs. Using these garments, Su got a better feel of where his limbs were in space and time, and this kind of kinesthetic feedback can be a valuable addition to the regular verbal feedback a coach gives. Finally, microloading is also used during max velocity sprints to improve total body stiffness and coordination of the extension pattern in the hip, knee and ankle. For example, Stu McMillan, Altus CEO and coach of many elite sprinters like Jody Williams, gave a quick look into one of his microloading training sessions on the Track and Field Performance podcast. He said that he'll do 50 to 90 meter sprints, where in run 1 the Omorpho tide, top and vest will be worn. That's a 9 pounds or 4.08 kilogram add-on for the men and a 6 pounds or 2.72 kilogram add-on for the women. And in the second run, the vest comes off, so the men run with 5 pounds or 2.26 kilograms added, and the women will run with 3 pounds or 1.36 kilograms added load. For the final run, there is no added load and a normal body sprint is performed. He added in the podcast that over a 12-week period, he saw improvements for 7 of the 8 athletes that went through this program. The feedback McMillan got from his athletes was that they didn't really felt the added weights that much while sprinting, but once they got to take them off, they felt faster. While this is of course a subjective feeling, if you worked with athletes, you'll know that a subjective feeling can sometimes have very big consequences either in the positive or negative way, and that such a feeling might be enough to implement it into your training sessions. While these garments are relatively expensive, you can also go for a more cost-efficient route and buy small ankle and wrist weights of around 250 grams or 0.5 pounds. This way you can get a similar effect to the microloading garments, but without a higher cost. The main thing to look out for is that the weights can be firmly attached to the body and don't come off when the intensity of your runs and drills get higher. Let us know in the comments if you have used microloading with your athletes and how you look at this form of training. You can find all the info on the Omorpho and Exogen clothes in the description below, as well as the Altis course on how Su Bingqiang got coached and trained to eventually break the Asian 100-meter record. And if you want to help out the channel, like the video and subscribe to the channel, it really means a lot to us.